Over the last number of weeks, I've had customers asking me how they could use Azure Migrate to assess and move their on premise workloads, such as servers, databases, and applications to Azure. Azure Migrate provides tools for discovering, assessing, and planning migrations, essentially enabling you to evaluate the cloud readiness and the estimated costs of hosting those workloads in Azure. I tend to think of Azure Migrate in basically three phases. You've got the discovery phase where you're discovering the servers in the data center that you want to migrate. After that, you've got the assessment phase, which looks at the VM readiness of those discovered VMs. And then the migration piece, which is migrating the discovered servers to Azure. Before you start with Azure Migrate, you need to create a project with inside the Azure Migrate tab. When you do that, it's going to ask you for a name, a resource group, and the region you want to host them in. Once you've that created, you will have the option down here to go and basically discover the appliance using the appliance or the import option within inside your project. So the appliance option is where you basically deploy the Azure Migrate appliance to a virtual machine. It then connects to the servers to gather the information about their configurations, performance, and dependencies. The other option is the import option, which basically allows you to use a CSV file where you can manually import server data using a CSV file. Some of the reasons for this can be around security constraints that prevent you from maybe gathering and sending the data to the appliance, or it can be simple as you can't share credentials that allow access to those on-prem servers. So this is a really useful option for scenarios like that. Once you've done this, you're going to be able to basically get an overview of the discovered servers. In here, you can see I've got quite a number of servers that have been discovered. I've got groups of servers that I want to group together and migrate in one go together. I've got the option here with regards to the assessments, so getting an overview of what their cloud readiness is and maybe the costs associated to them. If I go into the discovered servers here, this will basically give me a really nice overview on what software is running on these servers, the support that's basically attached to them, any dependencies. So if I look at the applications on this particular server, it'll basically give me a list of the applications that's currently on it, as well as the roles and features. I can also have the option up here to create a group. I spoke about this previously, but if I want to group a collection of machines that I want to migrate together, I can absolutely do that in here, which is a really nice feature for a lot of our customers. What's probably most important is looking at the assessments of those discovered machines. So in here is my assessment, and this is basically going to give me a complete overview of their Azure readiness, the monthly cost associated to migrating these workloads. It'll basically give me a nice basically overview on whether they're ready with conditions, not ready, I need to focus on a particular area to get these Azure ready. I've got the monthly cost associated from a compute and storage perspective, the support options when it comes to licensing, and probably from a hybrid benefit perspective, what the potential savings are with migrating these to Azure. If I want to look at these on an individual server basis, I've got the cost details option here. And you can see down here, I've got a number of servers. And if I use this one, for example, it's going to give me a breakdown of what VM size I should use in Azure for this particular server, what this individual server is going to cost me from a compute and storage perspective. It'll also show me the compute that I need to look at from an Azure side of things, the cores associated to it, what storage I need to look at from a disk perspective, and then last but not least from a network perspective. So this gives me everything that I need to go and make an informed decision whether I want to migrate this or I need to do some further work to actually make these Azure ready.